Public executions have existed for thousands of years, across cultures and continents, serving as both punishment and public spectacle. Long before the advent of modern prisons, societies relied on the public display of justice as a deterrent, a warning, and, often, entertainment. In ancient civilizations like Greece and Rome, executions were public events. Roman gladiatorial games, for instance, sometimes ended with condemned criminals being killed before cheering crowds. Death was not private, it was communal. The act was a performance, a message. Defy the law, and this is your fate. During the Middle Ages in Europe, public executions became highly ritualized affairs. The condemned were often paraded through town streets before their final moment, with clergy offering last rites and crowds gathering to witness the spectacle. Hanging, beheading, burning at the stake. These were not just punishments, they were public theater. Executioners themselves often became infamous figures, wielding a mix of authority and fear, while the populace treated the events almost like festivals, complete with vendors, food, and gambling. One notorious example is the execution of William Wallace in 1305. The Scottish hero was drawn, hanged, and quartered in London, and the gruesome details were deliberately publicized to dissuade rebellion. In Tudor England, the execution of rebels or high-profile criminals drew crowds in the tens of thousands. Observers often collected souvenirs, pieces of rope, ashes from burned bodies, or even preserved body parts, as macabre keepsakes of justice served. By the 18th century, the Enlightenment began to change attitudes. Philosophers and reformers argued that public executions were barbaric and did little to prevent crime. Still, rulers resisted. Fear was an effective tool of control. In France, during the height of the Revolution, public guillotinings were mass spectacles. Crowds cheered the swift and efficient deaths of nobles and perceived enemies of the people. The guillotine, ironically, became a symbol of equality in death, though still very much a communal spectacle. Across the Atlantic, early America also embraced public executions. Colonial towns often held hangings in central squares, sometimes drawing hundreds of townspeople. Newspapers would report upcoming executions, and the events became social gatherings. Yet, even in the New World, public sentiment began to shift. By the 19th century, reformers criticized the cruelty and sensationalism, pushing for executions to be moved behind prison walls. By the 20th century, the spectacle of death in the streets largely disappeared in Western nations. Executions became private affairs, carried out in prisons with minimal witnesses, often just officials and journalists. The decline of public executions reflected broader societal changes, a growing belief in human rights, the dignity of the condemned, and the view that justice need not be entertainment. Yet, the fascination persists. Even today, the rare televised execution in some countries sparks intense public debate and morbid curiosity. From ancient arenas to city squares, public executions remind us of humanity's complex relationship with justice, mortality, and spectacle. They were more than punishment. They were mirrors of society, exposing fear, control, and a strange, enduring fascination with death.